Hello, welcome to Candy Shoppe Yarns, where everything is sugar-free and high in fiber. I am Deborah, your confectioner extraordinaire. I am the owner of Candy Shoppe Yarns, and this is the ultimate destination for knitting and crochet enthusiasts. I invite you to join in the friendly community of crafters who have a sweet tooth for fun by hitting the subscribe button. So let's get started. It is episode 19 and it is October 10th. 2023, though this will not be going up for a couple of days. I'm recording a couple of days early. I wanted to let you know that, Luna, come here, there is an episode of Meanwhile at the Castle podcast. That is podcast that my sister Emily and I recorded together for years. I'm trying to remember how long ago it was. If we started in 2016, can't remember exactly, but we did it for a long time. And then I started this podcast for many reasons, and she started hers, but we got together for a fun episode. And so I invite you to check that out. I'll have a link to that in the description box below. So last episode, I had a project bag and skein of yarn for a giveaway. And to enter that, you just needed to comment on that video. And I had a lot of really lovely comments there from people who were giving suggestions on what to make with the yarn that I had and things that they like to make when they're traveling. Some other things. I used one of your suggestions of things you like to make when traveling. I made some crochet dish cloths. And then another person said with the yarns I didn't know what to do with, I had leftover yarn from sweater for my granddaughter, and then this yarn that I picked up at a swap. And I didn't quite know what to do with it with the amount that I had, and she suggested mittens or fingerless mitts. And perfect suggestion. I am going to be using that for sure. The winner for that, for this project bag, however, let's get back to that, is Pauline Bosch 6929. So congratulations, Pauline. To claim your prize, you need to contact me through my email, which is listed in the description box below, candyshopyarns@gmail.com. I'll need to get your full name, mailing address. Well, I don't really need a middle name. I need a first name and a last name and your full mailing address. And then I can ship that to you. But I was realizing at the rate that I am going through giving away these bags, it's going to take me a year. So I need to get a move on. So we're going to have another one. Are you ready? This is one. This is a shawl size or sweater size project bag. This is one that I made. It is a cat in the hat drawstring bag. I just thought that was a fun one. There was one point where I was making a project with these colors, and I thought it would be fun to have a matching bag, and I made a matching bag. Yes. And then I never used it. So it's brand new. It's kind of funny. It was too big for the project. I was making socks. That's right. It was really cute self-striping yarn. But I don't have yarn to go with this bag. What I do have is, this is actually from a friend. She was clearing out some knitting needles and asked if anybody wanted them, and I said I would find a new home for them because nobody else needed them. There are 4 sets of Addy Turbo Rockets, well, 3 Turbo Rocket and 1 Turbo Lace. This one is size US 10, 32 inches, US 9, 32-inch cable, US 7, 24-inch cable, and US 6, 24-inch cable. So these are good for cowls and for hats, and for some of these that are 32 inches would be good on sweaters. So I have 4 sets of needles to go with this project bag. And so to enter this giveaway, we're going to continue the theme. Make sure you like this video and you leave me a comment. Of course, I prefer, you know, supportive, uplifting comments, but you know, sometimes you just have something you need to share that's totally random. Okay, let's see. I wanted to make sure I got all of that beginning stuff. Let's begin with a life update and then we'll get into projects. So since my last episode here, I had a family vacation to Disneyland. It was so much fun. I went with my husband and my youngest daughter and her best friend. So we're down to one child at home, and we thought this is going to be difficult for her to be stuck with her mom and dad and nobody else to divert our attention away from her. So we invited her good friend who went with us last time as well, and we had a really good time. I will say it was so humid. We've had one other time that we went where it was off the charts humid there. I can't even remember. It was something like 90% humidity when we went one time. This time it wasn't quite as bad, but have you seen the episode of Friends where Monica, I don't remember where they went on a trip, maybe it was Florida, and every time you saw her, her hair got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger from the humidity and natural curls. Well, that was kind of my hair. It didn't necessarily get bigger and bigger like that. It just got more and more unruly. And normally humidity for curls is a good thing, but like I went and I styled my hair like this the first day, and I walked outside and had to come back into my hotel room because we went to grab something from the car, and I came back in 5 minutes later and my hair was completely straight. Like there were none of these curls, but it was just frizz. I went, oh, I'm not doing my hair again. So I just pulled it back. And then the next day I thought I'll do my hair naturally curly because it's naturally curly. But it wouldn't curl, it just would frizz. So I just went, forget it, who cares? I just don't care. But it was fun, and we went on the new Mickey's Runaway Railway, and that was so cute and so fun. I had a really great time. But it was a car trip, a long drive there and a long drive back. And to go along with my old lady theme tools and things, let me share with you what I purchased for this car trip. I end up having a lot of problems with my back because of sitting in the car for too long, and I have scoliosis. So I bought myself a special cushion. This makes me feel really, really old. This one is for the car. They have ones that are thicker. I really wanted the thicker ones, but not for the car. And then I bought also a lumbar support because the driver's seat has really good lumbar support that's adjustable, but not the passenger seat. So I bought that to go in my car, and then I got a seat cushion for each person in my family because I didn't want them to feel left out. Like, why do I get the fancy cushion and everybody else has to suffer? So I got those from the Cushion Lab. I found that through Etsy. And by the end of the trip, I think we had all decided that while it kept us in alignment, because one of the people that was with us, Nadia's friend, she also has back problems, and we were trying to help keep her back healthy. While yes, it keeps your back in alignment, it's very awkward. So I now have 4 of these that we just have on random seats around the house, and it looks kind of awkward, but I like it. Just not in the car, not in the car. So add that to my old lady tools, supplies. Okay, another thing after that, on Instagram, you know, the algorithms, they just know you. So a new local place to me popped up in my Instagram feed called Stirs, and it is a cereal bar. And I thought, that would be so fun to take my girls there. We walked in and I was like, this is my childhood fantasy come to life, where it's just every cereal you can imagine, cold cereal, and you can mix and match and have all of them that you like. And so that was really fun going there. The only thing is that when you can't have gluten, and then, you know, I use almond milk, it kind of changes the number of options. But I still love cold cereal. I think the strangest combination that my girls had was a cinnamon toast crunch with chocolate milk. I think that was it. And she said, no, that was not good. But she's like, I have to eat it to empty the bowl to get to the next one. So that was fun. I just always love finding, you know, fun things to do with my girls. And then coming up this weekend is solar eclipse. And where I live, it should be a really good place to see it. There will most likely be a lot of people traveling from out of state to come here to view it. So I've got my glasses. I'm ready. I'm ready. I remember the last time we did this. It was a very interesting experience. We're kind of like, it didn't get that dark. So there's certain areas that you can go where it will get really dark. It didn't get very dark where we were, but it had such an eerie quality to the light. But it was fun. And I have pictures of us all sitting out with our glasses on. Anyways, so that's what's going on. Come here, Luna. Come here, girl. I'll pet you so you'll be quiet. Come. Let's get started on projects. I have quite a few. Are you going to come over here? I've got your toy. I was determined to not stop and start this video today. I got everything ready. I sat down and the Luna, the lawn care company that takes care of the parkway next to me started mowing right then. So I had to wait for a while. Hey Luna, come here. Come here. And there's supposed to be a delivery coming. I just thought I do not want to start and stop this video. I want to just go all the way through. Okay, so I don't know how many of you are participating in the haunted house. Let me see. I just got it confused. What? I didn't print up a single page that has the title on it. Well, that's too bad. Haunted House, I think, Mystery Knit Along by Telly Knits. So if you are somebody participating in that and you don't want any spoilers, I am going to add chapters to this video so you can scroll through to the next chapter, or you can go to the description box where I'll have timestamps for each chapter and you can just tap on that. So I thought I'd start with the Mystery Knit Along, get that one out of the way so you can come back and watch the rest. But for those of you who are not participating and want to see, or if you're already caught up, then here we go. Okay, so I really like how Telly Knits prepared everybody for this knit along. She had a whole getting ready packet that told you about what yarns you would want, what kind of colors they should be, how much contrast they should have, and which colors, because you need 6 colors. And then she has a spot for you to label all of your colors. So I glued the yarn down. These were the yarn ties. and I glued that down in each spot. These are my 6 colors. And I thought that was very helpful. I was gonna make myself a color card on my own, and I printed this up and went, perfect, now I don't have to do it all myself. And that's very helpful because I don't remember what's color 3 and what's color 6. So we are on day, let's see, day 10, but I have only got through day 8. So I'm a day behind because today's clue has come out and it's not the end of the day, but I didn't do yesterday's. I actually got 3 days behind and spent last night and this morning working on it, and now I'm only 1 day behind. So here we go, let me show you. Look how fun. This is my favorite so far. Actually, I think that that one and today's clue, or no, yesterday's clue are my favorite, but I'm just starting on yesterday's clue. This is a bandana style cowl. So it's knit flat for a bit and then you join in the round, and this will be the front. It's gonna be so fun. Now, doing the first 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, I thought, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm trying to look in the viewfinder and then remember to look in the camera, but I thought, I hope it's not just textured sections in blocks. But then I remembered that there was a lot of contrast needed with certain colors and figured there would be color work involved. And sure enough, there is, and it's fun. So you can see how that's looking. I really like the colors that I picked, and honestly, I was doubting them up until the minute I cast on. I mean, even when I first cast on, I thought, I hope I don't regret this. But as it's worked along, I am really enjoying it. So I am using, let's pull out. These are all of my own colorways. Okay. I'm using Papaya, Midnight, and so she recommends this be a very dark color that's like charcoal, black, navy blue, something just really dark. And this one needed to be an orange. And this one I made kind of a peachy orange. And then she said we needed a green here. And the one that I picked was, did I pick Jade? I'm pretty sure I picked Jade. Yes. And then this one, she said, needs to be a color you really love because it will be the dominant color. And this is Boysenberry Pie. So far it's not dominant, but I suspect we're heading there. And then this one is my light contrast color, and this one's Miss Goody Two Shoes. And then I just used a bear yarn, which I call Marshmallow. So that's what I picked for my colors. I really was debating on whether or not this light contrast color should be yellow. That's what she had in her sample of yarns. And I thought it looks really nice together. It really pops. She says you want something that's gonna pop. And the pink doesn't pop a lot, but I'm really glad that I went with pink instead of yellow, because this would be bright yellow, because the yellow I was looking at doing is this. That would be bright yellow. This would be purple and yellow. And down here would be yellow and green. And while that would be cute, I like the subtleness of the pink, especially paired with a navy blue instead of black. So I need to catch up one more day. But because this is a knit along where you get a new clue every week, and it does take pretty much all of my knitting time each day, because it's either textures, like it will have new stitches, it will be cables, it will be color work. Like, it takes all of my attention and it takes more time. And so it's taken almost all of my knitting time. So I haven't been able to complete a couple of other things, but I did get quite a bit of things done before this started. So this has, how many more days? It's 14 days total, and today's clue would be day 10, so that means there's 4 more days after this. So once I finish this, then it's full steam ahead with my other projects again. But I think this one is really fun. I really was wondering, how is this gonna look? Is this something I would ever actually use? And so far, yes, it is. But I just like the mystery part of it. I've never been one that really liked a mystery. Like, I like the idea of mystery yarns or mystery flavors or a mystery knit along, but I also want to have a bit more control. Same thing with advents. You know, you get one and you're reliant upon somebody else to choose the order for you or the colors for you, which is one reason why I have hesitated to offer advent calendars before this year, because I thought, I don't want to be responsible for that and for somebody not liking it. What if they don't like it? I figured if somebody's going to invest in me, in my yarn, then obviously they like what I make and it will be okay. So I had to let that go. Okay, let's go on to the next project. Okay, I'm making another Musselburg hat. So I shared this one last time that I had finished. Let me get that out. I'd finished this one last time. This is a Christmas gift, and I made it reversible, 2 different colors. I mean, the Musselburg hat's reversible, but I made it with 2 different colors, and I made it without a folded brim. This is a fitted beanie style. And the yarns that I used were 50-gram balls, and I had a lot left of each one. And so, you know, I knew that I had plenty of yarn. I could have made the whole thing with 1 color. I started on, the yarn is Kinross 4-ply from County Yarns. And you won't be able to see that. Kinross 4-ply. So I started the next one, and I used the color, I think it's mustard, this gold color. And I was knitting along and thought, okay, I need to make it reversible. Or I was gonna do yellow on one side, and I'm trying to remember what color. Oh, it's going to do this for the other side. It's just a really pale gray. And do I have the ball bands that tell me what the colors are? Where'd they go? Mustard and quartz. Quartz. I was realizing if I do that, then one side will, like the top will be one color, and then the brim when it folds up will be a different color. And I didn't really want that, so I thought, well, what's the color that would be most likely to be worn on the outside, folded up? And I thought that's going to be this gold color. And I thought, okay, I could make it so that that will fold up then. And so it has to be gold, and it has to be, I had it all figured out how it would work so that it would fold up, and you would see it has to be long enough to go here, then back up, then back down. And then the other color would only be the inside of the other colorway. And I thought, well, if I do that, it might look a little bit awkward. What if I don't get it just right? What if they want it folded more or less? So I decided I'm just gonna make the whole thing in this mustard color, but I only had 50 grams of it, and that's not enough. So I have knit all 50 grams. It is not enough. So we've got another order of this yarn coming, and I decided I'm just going to order another one of a lot of the colors I already ordered. So if I decide to do the same thing again, then I'd have enough yarn. But this is one of the projects I took with me. This is what I knit in Disneyland when I was in line. And I started the cast on and did the cast on and the increases in the car. And then I worked on the body of it when we were waiting in line, though I didn't get that far on it. The rest I knit at home. So this is on hold until the other yarn comes. But every time I pull this out, I open up the bag and I think, what's that smell? It smells kind of musty. It smells kind of like a grandma's house, because I'm a grandma. And then I realized, oh yeah, this is a really woolly wool. I mean, it feels really nice, but it has a lot of the oils still in it. What does it say? It talks about it. Knitting with greasy yarn. It doesn't feel greasy at all, but you can kind of smell it. But I feel like it's a really good smell. I like it. Once I blocked it, it doesn't smell like that anymore. But I open it and start knitting and I just feel, I don't know, comforted. I really like it. When I'm dyeing yarn, in good weather, I like to hang the yarn out to dry outside. I have a tree with these long, narrow limbs and I'll hang them up on hangers there, and the breeze will come through and I'll just be, if you drove by and saw, I'm standing out there with my face in the yarn, just like, it smells so good as the breeze comes through of the freshly washed yarn. I mean, my neighbors have got to think I'm the weirdest person. Well, here's the lawn care company. Okay. What's next? Oh, I finished a project. I finished this one. This was a Scrappy Cowl. I talked about the yarns last time, and I can't remember if I had cast on. I may not have even cast on. But I've made it. I've knit the whole thing. I used just scraps, and that's the beauty of it. It's a Scrappy Cowl. It's called Emily's Infinity Cowl, and it is a free pattern from my sister Emily Clausen at the Yarnbrary. It's just a, oh, I need to sneeze now. That's a problem with all the fibers, natural fibers floating around. You do a provisional cast on. Let's see if I can find where. Doesn't really matter, but you do a provisional cast on, start knitting, start and stop whenever you feel like it with whatever yarns you like until it's as long as you like. She gives a suggestion. I make mine a little bit shorter. And then you Kitchener, you pick up your provisional cast on and you Kitchener stitch, you graft it together. And I did a little bit of color work, like super basic. These look like little hearts. No, Luna, we don't need you and the lawnmower. Come here. Hey, why do I buy squeaky toys? Let's see. I did that. I have little ones there, right there. I thought I had one more. Just for fun. Okay, now we gotta take all the squeaky toys. No more squeaky toys. No more. You're gonna find another one somewhere. I know it. I know it. Okay. So, this is going to go in my Christmas gifts. I didn't want it to be too big of an opening so that it would drape down too far and not be as warm. So, I like that. This is the second one of those I have made. And it is very fun because you don't have to think at all. You just knit until you feel like switching colors. You knit till you run out of yarn. You knit till whenever, but it's fun. Did you find another squeaky toy? Okay. Let's see, what's next on my list? Okay, socks. I showed these last time. These are, it squeaks. Why is it that you have another squeaky one? I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Okay. I'm the meanest dog mom ever. Okay, I just took away all the toys except for there's a ball. It doesn't squeak. Okay, we have this sock that I made, and it is a shop sample, and then I wanted to use the rest of the minis to make myself scrappy socks, but I was going to do it a little bit different. So I made one sock. So I cast on 60 stitches. I did 20 rounds of ribbing, and then I switched to my first color and did 10 rounds of that color, and then I separated each one by 4 rounds. 4 rounds, 10 rounds, 4 rounds, 10 rounds. And then I did a slip stitch heel and continued on down. I did 4 rounds at the toe before I did my toe. And this made a US women's size 9. That's what size I wear. But let's look at how different they look next to each other. I used the same yarns except for I added in a contrast here of cream soda. So let's have a look. This is in the project bag that I made last year from a dish towel. And here is cream soda. This is one of my colorways. It has little flecks. And then I've got the second sock cast on, but I wanted to weigh my scraps because I started with 5 20-gram minis. I knit one full sock using just the minis, and then I'm using the minis separated by another colorway to do a pair of socks. So I wanted to see how much I have left to make sure I have enough. So I need to have a minimum of 5 grams of each of these to know, wait. Yes, I need 5 grams of each of these left. Okay, I've got 7, 9, so that's good. 8, this is the one I was worried about. 6 and a half. And 10. Because the reason I needed to have that much is I have knit this formula before using a set of 5 10-gram minis, and I had just enough. So I knew I needed 5 grams per color per sock. So I have enough. I will continue on. I mean, if I didn't have enough, I'd still want to continue on and not just have one sock because I want to wear these. I just have to either pull out more yarn that I have, like get another set, or I would need to reduce one of these sections by a stripe or something like that. But thankfully I will have plenty, and I can enter this into two make-alongs that I'm aware of. The first one is the hashtag is Crazy Spooky Mal 23, and that is hosted by the Crazy Sock Lady. and that goes through October 31st. It is for any fall or Halloween projects, knitting, crochet, sewing, I believe, and you don't have to finish it, which is good because I only have one sock, and at the rate I'm going, I don't know. Well, I essentially made two. So, and the other one, the hashtag is Fall Into Socks Cal 2023, and that one is hosted by, on Instagram, Elendria Knits. It's at ELLYNDRIA.knits. I will put that in the description box below. That goes through September 1st through November 15th, and that is for fall socks only. The other one, it's all fall and Halloween projects. So I need to get photos of these and get them posted if I want to enter. I don't really care that much about that part of it, like entering to win prizes and things, but I do like the community aspect of it. So, you know, that's fun. And I like to have photos taken of projects that I've been working on. So I've got that one ready. But to go along with the Crazy Sock Lady, her make along, I have got this project, which I have not really worked on a whole lot. I mean, I have since you've seen it, but I haven't for the last week or so because of the mystery knit along. But this is the Home Sweater V-neck by Caidree, and I'm using my yarns in the Nutmeg colorway, and I'm using a DK base and a mohair base held together. And I've got the front and the back joined together. I've knit the body, I've knit the front ribbing, which is quite long, and I've got 2 inches left of the back ribbing. And then I need, it looks like this goes really low, but it's rolled in a lot. And then you pick up stitches and you knit ribbing, and then it comes up a bit here. So that will be the next thing that I will do, is knit the neckband. And then I can do the sleeves. So that's what I'm working on right after the mystery knit along. But this has gone very smoothly. It has been moving along swiftly. It's been very enjoyable. I think it's beautiful. It just is it just screams fall to me. Oh, it's beautiful. So that one is going to be the next big push for making. Okay, but now, oh, it's time for the big reveal. This is one that I have been waiting to share with you for quite some time. Come here there, Nat. So I have a knitting group that I am part of. We meet once a month and we have so much fun together, the best time. And we do a lot of fun events, and one of them is in the spring. We swap yarn. We secretly swap. We don't know whose yarn we're gonna get or who is getting our yarn, and we fill out like a paper that tells a little bit about, like, it says who the yarn belongs to. It has some measurements and some things we like, some things we don't like in knitted or crocheted items. And whoever gets that bag of yarn, you will make something for the recipient, for the owner of the yarn. I hope I explained that well. So the reveal is tomorrow, which is why I'm recording early, and then I will post this in a couple of days. So I got the yarn. I have my friend, well, everybody there is my sweet friend, but my sweet friend Wendy, she is Solly Rocks on Instagram, and she's also part of the Granny Pan Knits podcast. And the yarn that I got, I opened it up. Where's the ball band? Uh-oh, now I gotta find where the ball band went. I opened it up and it's sport weight. And I thought 100 grams of sport weight yarn that's highly variegated. What am I gonna make with it? I was stumped because before I opened this up, I had been going through like looking for a whole bunch of single skein projects because you put in 100 grams of yarn and you make something with that. And I had a whole list of 100-gram single skein project ideas ready, and not a single one worked with sport yarn. So I thought I'm gonna have to start from scratch. So I did some digging for a couple of days and decided right off what I was gonna make and got started. So this was back in March, I think. So what I decided to make were shoes. I was going to make espadrilles. I'm sure I said that wrong, but that's okay. But the pattern that I got, I'm actually not going to tell you the designer because I do not recommend it. And I feel like you should be able to speak about a pattern that's not well written and everything. As a consumer, you should be able to give a review. We also like to be positive in our things, but if it's not a good pattern, I don't want to share it. So the pattern, you make the soles, and that's what really intrigued me. And so I was reading how to make the soles, and you make it with lucite braided cords. Well, lucite is the tool, but it's a braided cord made with a lucite fork. And I thought, bingo, because guess what my sister gave me for Christmas? I thought, I have just the tool needed for this. So I got this out and I watched videos and I spent several weeks mastering the art of making lucite cords. So I was so excited, I'm like, I've got this. Then I started making it for the shoes, because with the shoes, you use jute twine. And I got a big spool of jute twine and I started the lucite cord braiding process and failed miserably and could not get it to work. And I tried and I tried. And then I saw the pattern. She gives you suggestions of like 4 different options for the sole, for what you need in order to make it. And she says the very best is the lucite braided cord, because it creates a 4-sided, like it's like a cube if you look at it on the side, and it is strong, it's uniform, it's easy to pick up stitches on the side, it's easy to shape into the sole, it will hold up well. And so she says to do that, make so many feet of it. So I'm like, okay, good, I can find out how to do it. Well, at the very end of the pattern, she shows how to make it with crochet hooks. So then I went back to learning how to do that, and that did not work well. It hurt my hands so much I could not do it. So I went, never mind, let's see, what's her option 2? So after I had spent a month working on this, we've moved on to option 2. Option 2 was a foundation crochet cord. Foundation. If you crochet, you can make a foundation row. Well, essentially you make a 15-foot long foundation row with the twine, the jute twine. So I settled in for a long session of making 30 feet of this. I actually think I did 17, on one and 17 on another to make sure I had enough. Good thing I did. So I did that, and then I made the sole. And the sole, you use silicone, and she has a template and tells you how to make it, and I followed that and made the sole, and that worked out just fine. And then I went to make the shoe part, the upper. And that's when I really got into trouble. So I can follow crochet patterns just fine. Like there was a time when I couldn't, but I do plenty of crochet now that I can follow them just fine. And I especially love charts, crochet charts, because they are so easy. It's just essentially a picture of every stitch. It's very easy. Well, this pattern is the opposite of that. Well, first of all, I did a gauge swatch. Didn't work, had to go up a crochet hook. Didn't work, had to go buy another one and wait for it to come in to get gauge. So I finally got gauge, and when I made the first part of the toe, because you do it toe up, it didn't fit the way that it said it should fit, and it was saying it was going to be way too small. So then I had to rip it all the way out, start again, and make the next size larger. So I did that and then made the rest of the slipper, and it was way too big. So I went back and made the size smaller. So I ripped it all the way out and started again. But I just want to tell you, because I'm going to show you these in just a minute, this pattern would tell you, like, to begin your shoe, follow the steps on page 17. So I'd have to go to page 17 to start the shoe. And then I'd have to go back to page 2. And then it's like, okay, at the beginning of every row, you need to do this thing. But why could they not just put that in the beginning of every row instructions? Because it didn't really work. Like it did, anyways, it didn't, the instructions did not work very well. And I had to do a lot of ripping out and starting over again, or ripping out and starting over again. I probably made each shoe 6 times. Luckily, this yarn held up. Okay, so in the end, I get to the chart part. There's a charted part, and I'm like, finally, a charted crochet pattern. This is going to be so much easier, except for the symbols. Some of the symbols didn't have any explanation for it. So I'm like, there's no explanation for this symbol. I don't even know what this symbol is. So I go to the written part and it tells me how to do that. I need to go to page 8. Okay, so now I go to page 8, which is 5 pages later, to find out how to do the symbol that is on page 20. And then I have to, like, I had to keep going. It kept saying, in order to do this, go to this page and come back and go to that page, and this part of the instruction is up here. And then sometimes I would make, like, I made the toe and then I did the foot, like you start on the bottom, and I did the chart part, and then it says, if your toe isn't long enough, you can adapt it by following a page. Why didn't it tell you before you did the whole chart? Like, if it wasn't long enough, and how do you know if it's long? Anyway. Okay, I finally got it done. And then I sewed it onto the soles, and it would not stay on my foot. And luckily, this person has the same size feet as me. Thank goodness, because I had to try these on a million times. Would not stay on my foot. It was way too narrow, way too shallow. So then I had to go crochet around that. I'm going to show you these now. After all that work, I finally made a pair of shoes. And they are nothing to write home about. They look like a regular old slipper. So here's the sole. It also had weird instructions for this side part. It told you to do one thing, like crochet, like slip stitch through. But then why? Because we never used that. And you'd cover it up with the next row. It had like, it was so confusing. Very confusing. And then it has you making an insole with, it gave you several options. Cardboard, I'm like, I don't want to do cardboard. If this ever got wet, it would disintegrate. And then it talked about using cork tiles. And I happen to have one of those. laying around in my craft room, luckily. And then she said, you print fabric, talked about how to print fabric and then cover it. And I was getting ready, like, okay, now I've got to go design the print that's going to go on it. And then it hit me, why am I printing fabric? I have fabric that's printed. It's so if you want to customize it and have it be just so and put like a label on it or something. And at that point, I just didn't care. So I just tried to find fabric that matched. But in the end, we have a shoe. I had to raise this up a lot and tighten it because it was so gapey. And like, look at how short this rise is. When it's on the foot, like it's nothing. So I kind of increased, started out with slip stitches and then got to taller stitches and went around and then back and then around. And then I picked up and just did right around here a couple times. And then I did a slip stitch around the whole thing, like to try to raise it. I just kept putting it on. Is that enough? No. Put it on. Is that enough? No. So I'm so thankful I have the same size feet. So in the end, we have a pair of espadrilles and they are just average. That took me months and I finished the day before they need to be given. Like I actually still have to weave in some ends. So I have some little shoe form things. I used my garment steamer. This is a wool yarn and it calls for worsted weight yarn, but I held it double, which was great. And I used the garment steamer to steam it and then I put the shoe form in and until it cooled down so that it would kind of shape it a bit because it was quite like twisted and looking funny. After all of that, I learned that I could have just purchased a sole for these, an espadrille sole. I had no idea. And now I know, and because of that, and now that I have made this pattern, and I'm now, after I finished the first one and got it to work, I went, ah, that's how you make one. Why didn't they just say so? And I went, this is a simple process. This does not need to be hard. But after that, and learning that I could just buy a sole, I decided I am going to try this again. I also found after the fact, which I probably should have looked way earlier, and found other patterns from other designers. I'm gonna try and make some again, but I will use a different pattern and I will buy the sole. But I can now say I have made shoes. Oh, would you wear these? I sure hope my friend loves them. I was so determined to finish these and to make them work because the second I saw this, I thought, Wendy would love this. She would be all over it. Like if anybody was to make these, it seems like that would be Wendy. So all I have left, I have just a little bit, this much from one shoe, this much from another. So the goal is to use as much of the yarn as possible, and I'm glad I have some left because if she needs to raise it up anywhere on the shoe for it to fit her better, there's some left to work with. I was worried I would run out. So, oh, it's done. Thank goodness. And right here, this is the gift that goes to me. So I know who it's from because she's going out of town and she dropped it off beforehand, and I'm not going to open it until we're all together. And I haven't peeked. I like surprises, and I like surprises to stay a surprise until it's the right time. I really don't like to know like a Christmas gift before I open it. I like the surprise of it, so I'm not peeking. Okay, let's see. Time for shop news. Shop news, yay! What's happening in the candy shop? I mentioned advent calendars, and guess what? I have 5 more advent calendars available. As I was dyeing yarn, I realized just like the numbers, how it worked out, that it would work better for me to dye that many more. So I just did it and decided, what am I going to do with them? So I'm going to have those available for sale in my shop. They're shipping out in a couple of weeks. It's 1980s theme. I was so close to finishing without having to stop and start again, but the order arrived. I have a package that arrived that I've been waiting for. Okay, my advent calendar. Yes, that's where I was. I will have that available in my shop. It is 24 mini skeins on a crystalline sparkle base, fingering weight sparkle base, and then there is 1 full skein for the 25th of December, and then there are a few little fun trinkets, extras to go with the theme. And I just dyed the full skeins for all of them yesterday. I am so in love with it. I am so excited about it. I cannot wait for you to get it if you ordered one. I'm thrilled with how it turned out. So I actually had to dye 1 extra because, like I said, numbers, how it works out, 1 extra. And I was so happy because I'm like, I wanted 2. So now I can have 2. I can dye it again though, if I want. Okay, also in my shop, so I shared last time my cinnamon spice and everything nice collection. But then with the Telly Bean Knits mystery knit along, I wanted to dye some mini skeins, some colors for that, and I decided rather than just dye them for myself, I would dye some for customers as well. But then I wanted there to be a lot more options, and then I realized these are just great colors. So I think that these will be part of my regular lineup. So let me show you what I have. I have 2 yellows. I have Pina Colada and I have Liquid Sunshine. So a cool tone and a warm tone yellow. And a couple of these are not new. Like this one is Bear, this one's Marshmallow. And then I have a pale, pale gray, and this one is called Gray Stuff. And then I have Black Licorice, which is not new. This is just a black. And then I have Midnight, which is the colorway I'm using in my cowl instead of black, but very dark and rich. Then I've got new Cherry Cola. I've had Cherry Cola in my shop before, but the last 3 times I have dyed it, it just would bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed, and I could not figure out why, because it didn't happen before, and I thought maybe I got new dyes or something. Anyways, so I just reworked it with different dyes, and so now I'm calling it New Cherry Cola. And then I have Boysenberry Pie. This is a color that I have in my shop, or in my cowl. Ooh, that one goes very well with my shirt. And then 2 oranges that I have, Papaya, which is one I showed you in my cowl, and Saffron. One is a more pinky peachy base, and one is a more earthy orangey base, like tone color. Then I have Kiwi Kisses and Jade Delight. Jade is the one in my cowl. I used a lot of cool tones, but not all. And then Miss Goody Two Shoes, which I shared before in my cowl, and then Abyss. So these are all new Gumball Mini skeins, or mostly new ones, but they're all in my shop right now. And They are so fun. I'm just like, ooh, I wish I could pick them all up to show you. I have some pictures of these on Instagram, but not everybody is on Instagram. But oh, these are just such fun colors. So they're all semi-solids. They're, you know, mostly solid, but trying to dye hand-dyed yarns, they aren't perfectly solid. I just grabbed 3 to pick up, and that combination, I love papaya, pina colada, and midnight. Ooh, I love that combination. Okay, wait, I'm gonna try this again. It may not work. I'm gonna grab 3. Okay, let's see. Ooh, that's a good, okay. Saffron, Liquid Sunshine, and this one is Jade Delight. Yep, I like that combination. Okay, I'm gonna try my luck one more time. Let's see what we get. That one's good. Not quite as exciting as the others, but New Cherry Cola, Kiwi Kisses, and Boysenberry Pie. But that is kind of the thing. I did try to make these where you could mix and match any of them. Okay, but when I posted these online, there was one colorway that people really loved. It was the most popular one, and that was Boysenberry Pie. And I had several customers requested on full skeins. So I have Boysenberry Pie on full skeins on 5 different bases here. So let me show you what I have. Okay, this one is my DK sock base, and I call it DK sock because it has nylon in it, so you can use it for socks, but it is a great DK weight yarn that's good for sweaters and hats and anything. Then I have DK, I've got crystalline sock base, and it is the same same thing, but it has a silver stellina, which you kind of, ooh, there, you can kind of see it there. Then I've got it on 2 fingering weight bases. I've got my simple syrup, my classic simple syrup base, which is my standard, the one that almost everybody wants, that I sell the most of. And then I've got my truffle base, which is a fingering weight boucle slub. Oh, is this gonna focus? Come on. Doesn't want to focus for some reason. Got to get the right place for it. I don't know why. It's lovely. And then my cotton candy mohair lace weight. And I knit a sweater for myself this year using sugar lips with this combination of the truffle base and mohair. Love that. So I have those that will be available, and most of them are in sweater quantities. I brought blackberry cordial cream to compare so you could see the difference in purples. The lighting has changed though. It's kind of, let me see. No, that's that is a good representation. This one, well, kind of, this one is a brighter, more vibrant, and this one is a bit more subdued and earthy. But I don't know why. All of a sudden, the lighting has changed. Just when colors are critical, it's critical. Oh, there, that's it. And then it goes blurry. The other one that surprised me that was so popular was Blood Orange Bonbon. This is the one that I've had sell out multiple times. And I had a customer just order a sock tube with this yarn, and it was beautiful. So you could mix and match these minis and add them for cuffs, heels, and toes on some of my other fall yarns, but I don't think that they are only fall themed. Like, I think they're just beautiful yarns. So that's what I have in my shop. I have many other things, but that's the new update. So you can go find the Advent Mini, Christmas Advent Countdown, the 1980s themed first come, first serve. And There are no refunds on advents or returns, just so you are aware. That's everything. Thank you so much for returning and joining me every week, and I invite you to leave a comment so you can enter the giveaway and return again next time to see who has received it, who's the winner. So I'll see you again next time.